The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WynnBET. WynnBET is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBET has what you need to win. Sign up today, bet $100, and get a $100 free bet at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. State restrictions apply. Roster brought to you by our mini helmet contest. The SGP mini helmets are now in the store, and we're giving one away for free. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/helmet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/helmet. Welcome, everyone, to the NBA Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is Monday, December 26th. Here to recap our Christmas Day picks and action that we saw yesterday. And of course, get into the betting card here on Monday. But coming off a clean sweep 6-0 between myself, Terrell, and Delonte. But joining me here to recap everything and get into the betting card for the Monday games. You guys know him as the superstar of the show. It's the villain, Terrell Furman Jr. Terrell, how's it going, my man?
Man. I'm telling you, sometimes when you on fire, you just on fire. Like sometimes when you got it, you just got it. And the fact that the only pick we missed was Dallas, I feel comfortable with that. I'm comfortable not laying set 8 points with Dallas at home. I'm perfectly fine with that. No issue with me there. So yeah, absolute destruction on the books for us on this podcast. I hope everybody cashed. And man, I'm telling you that. Remember Christmas. Watch what the Grizzlies do after this Christmas game. This is the game that's going to propel them to the NBA Finals. I'm telling you right now. That was the game that's going to propel them to the NBA Finals.
Look, it just took a 51-point quarter from Dallas Mavericks to not get us the clean sweep and all the picks that we did give out outside of our lock and dog. But yeah, great action last night. We'll touch on the Memphis game. They just got absolutely embarrassed yesterday. That was a fun game to watch. But also joining us here to break down the Monday card, it's the newest co-host on the NBA Gambling Podcast. He's not new anymore. It's Delonte Smith. Delonte, what's going on, my man?
What's up, man? Just doing pretty good. Glad we got some winners yesterday. Some good action. That 51-point quarter from Dallas kind of ruined everything. As far as sweeping, but seeing it well, everybody's seeing it well. Pretty much can guarantee that we all won't go 6-0 that much, but hopefully we can. It's just law of averages, but ready to put that behind us and get back to some new winners.
Yeah, it's only a fitting day that it was Christmas Day where we went 6-0. So hopefully we put some extra cash in people's pockets on Christmas Day. But let's briefly touch on what we saw yesterday, and then we'll get into the games here for the Monday schedule. And we'll start right there with that Memphis game that we were just talking about between the Golden State Warriors and the Memphis Grizzlies. I think, we hit the handicap right on the head. Terrell, you mentioned it, man. I mean, that this was the spot where Memphis probably wouldn't or didn't show up. And I think that's what we said on the podcast when we did the breakdown for this game. But a lot of chirping, a lot of back and forth, a lot of technical fouls. Jordan Poole getting ejected. Klay Thompson getting the face of Dylan Brooks. Draymond Green, taunting at the end of the game. But that was a fun game to watch, Terrell. I think you're right. I think this might be a game where now Memphis kind of got their wake-up call in this game against the defending champions, the Golden State Warriors. But anything else you want to discuss from this game?
Not really. I mean, it's just I'm not going to hold anything Memphis did in that game. Like, they shot completely terrible from three. Ja was 2 for 10. I think they shot less than 30% as a team. And I'm just not going to hold anything against them because I know it was a bad spot. It was a terrible spot. They were coming off a blowout of the Suns. They were really smelling themselves, and they felt very, very confident. You heard the comments that Ja said. And, that team was really, really confident. And that Warriors squad at home is really, really good. It doesn't matter what personnel that they have out there. The bench production that they got from Ty Jerome, from basically everybody on that bench, like they were able to go out there and just put on a show for all 4 quarters. So,
yeah.
Excuse me, but that's what I expected the Warriors to do. So now I think this is a good time and opportunity for John Morant and his Grizzlies team to come back and regroup, and that's why I feel like this is the game. Like this is the game that's gonna force them to lock in for the rest of the season, force them to lock into the playoffs, and realize that hey, it doesn't matter who's going to be out there. We're taking everybody. We're giving everybody 110%.
Yeah. Delonte, any takeaways from that game?
Just fun. I mean, it's fun to watch NBA teams like literally not like each other and still respect each other off the court. I think we've seen it in Clay's post game where he said, they don't like each other, but at the end of the day, it's a respect thing because he knows that they're up and coming team. So I always think it's fun when we get these mini rivalries and teams that don't like each other on the court because it makes for better basketball. I mean, all that stuff, the technical foul, I loved everything. Like all about that's what basketball is all about. As far as the on court play, I mean, Memphis, they just didn't bring it. I mean, even though Ja had like I think whether he had 38 or 39. Yeah, I don't think he played particularly well. Nobody actually helped him going into the fourth quarter. He was the only Memphis Grizzlies player with double-digit points. Like, so that just goes to show you how much they didn't show up. As far as Golden State, I mean, they're just like Rail said, night and day from home and away. Plus 10 at home as far as point differential, minus 10 when they're away. So just something to take care of. They do have like a 7-game stretch at home, so I'm not sure if Steph will be back maybe on the back half of that because I think he's slated to get reevaluated this week coming up. But it'll be interesting to see how Golden State does. I'm really not worried about Memphis. I mean, just a bad game. I don't take much from the Warriors. Took that more personally, and I honestly wouldn't even have bet Golden State if I knew Wiggins wasn't playing. I thought Wiggins was in. He was probable when we did the show.
Yeah.
But I thought he was a big factor in it. So I mean, we got bad numbers and still cash. So that's just.
I doubled down on it when Wiggins was out. I doubled down on it because the line moved 2 points. Like I didn't believe Wiggins. Like yes, he's a great player, two-way player, all of that, defensively, all of that. I didn't think he was worth 2 points. So I was like. And somebody asked me on Twitter, like, "Hey, are we still?" I was like, "Yeah, like you're getting a lot of value, so why not?" Like,
But other than that, man, it was a good game. Glad we got to get to the window with that. But other than that, just good to have NBA rivalries like that, man. I wish we had a couple more like that.
Yeah, and then sorry, the rest of the games around the league. Knicks got out to a great start. I know that was Terrell's lock for the first half. That one, excuse me, cashed fairly easily. They had a 12-point lead in the first quarter, put up 37 points. And then, they held on to get that first half cover. Did the New York Knicks did fall a little bit in that second half where the Sixers outscored them 59 to 49. And they get the victory behind James Harden and Joel Embiid, who have both had great games. Julius Randle for the Knicks, 35 points, 8 rebounds. Lakers look great in that first half. Defensively, they look good. LeBron had a fantastic game for them, but it was really that second half, or especially that third quarter, like we discussed at the top of the show, where Mavericks just pulled away. It seemed like they were making every 3-point shot in that third quarter, where they outscored the LA Lakers 51 to 21. They outscored them 81 to 61 in the second half. It was really a trio of guys. It was Tim Hardaway Jr. knocking down his 3-point shots. I know that was a player prop that Terrell discussed on the pod as well. What we did on Saturday. Christian Wood, a 30-piece for them. Luka did his thing. Even Reggie Bullock was able to knock down some 3-point shots for the Dallas Mavericks as they get the victory and the cover on their home floor. Bucks Celtics. This was really not much of a contest here, guys. Celtics get the victory 139-118. Jason Tatum, 41 points. I think Jaylen Brown added another 30 points to that mix. I think they accounted for 50% of the 139 points that the Boston Celtics did put up. Just touched on the Grizzlies and Warriors game, and then the last game of the night, the Denver Nuggets and the Phoenix Suns. Devin Booker started this game. 4 minutes later, he leaves the game with a groin injury. Not sure he should have been out there in the first place, but Denver gets the victory there in overtime, 128-125. Nikola Jokic, just another casual triple-double for him, 41 points, 15 rebounds, and 15 assists. So 4 out of the 5 home teams won. I think the Nuggets probably, they pushed on their spread there, but it was a fun day, guys. I don't know if you guys want anything in particular you guys want to mention, Terrell, before we get into the Monday games, but anything that's kind of stuck out to you from the rest of the 4 games?
Man, I don't think anything really glaring that we didn't know. I mean, Jason Tatum is a dog. Jason Tatum, I think he has a hit list of everybody he wants to dunk on this year. Like, I think he just actually has a list, and he's like, all right, Giannis, check. And he's just going down the list like, yeah, I'm about to bang on everybody. Jason Tatum might be a dunk contest candidate, and that's actually hilarious of how much he's really posterizing people this year. So it was some definitely highlight moments between that and Aaron Gordon, who actually killed Landry Shamet. Actually killed him. And I don't think we saw him again. So even though it was called a charge, he died. He hit that boy with the dunk and then came back with a 5-star frog splash. So it was really, really over for Landry Shamet in that one.
Yeah.
But no, I really don't have anything.
Delonte, anything else that kind of stuck out to you from last night?
I mean, not really. I think that Jamal Murray is getting back to himself. Took him quite a while. He looked really good down the stretch in that game. And he spoke on Aaron Gordon. I think he is like the catalyst of how well Denver will be playing and how far they go, because he's just playing like this year. He's playing extremely well on both ends. He's feeding off Nikola Jokic, and I think that combo is going to work well in the playoffs as they get further along, because they can run the floor, they can space the floor. Now, Aaron Gordon's not going to knock down, 3 or 4 threes, but he can stretch the floor, hit a 15, 17-footer just to keep the defense honest. We already know that he can go to the basket, dunk on people. So I was impressed with Aaron Gordon and especially Jamal Murray. It was good to see him back at, to a certain level, I guess, before the injury. So other than that, he pretty much hit on everything else.
Yeah, we talked about this before the season started, that how great the Denver Nuggets were last season without Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. It looks like, and you're right. I think that, Jamal Murray coming off of the ACL injury, it takes some of these guys a good amount of time to, kind of get their legs back under them when you're coming back from that type of injury. But they're definitely going to need him, not only for the rest of the season, but also for the playoff run. When we do get to the playoffs. Shout out to Cameron Kerr, the producer of the Golf Gambling Podcast, in the chat here, saying there's got to be something to home teams on Christmas Day.
That's how I handicap it.
Yeah.
You got to think people are there with their families and the other team is not. Their families are either traveling or they're not with their families. Like, that's going to play into a player's psyche a little bit. And so Christmas, day after Christmas, just looking at spots and where people were, how they celebrate the holidays, social media. I go social media hunting.
Yeah.
After every holiday, just figuring out, okay, did they fly back to and spend it with their family and then fly all the way back again? Did they stay out, bring their families there? Were they apart from their families? Like, I look for stuff like that because that goes into handicapping, because it's just more of a letdown spot. People don't like, you don't get up, you don't want to play basketball. You thinking about, oh, how my family doing or what this, that. Like, these are people. You got to remember they're people.
Yeah. Cameron also pointing out, if the Hornets, did they stay on the West Coast over the Christmas or did they fly back and forth?
I'm looking around.
Yeah, maybe it's something Terrell can dig up by the time we get to that game. I know they're playing Portland tonight on this Monday schedule. All right, guys. Why don't we get into this Monday schedule here today? We're coming off of the 6-0. We got to follow it up, and I'm pretty confident that we will. Last week of 2022, so hopefully we can put some more cash in people's pockets before we get to 2023 here. So last pod, I think we have one more Monday pod before 2023. But let's get into it, guys. First game on the schedule. It's going to be a pretty good one here. We've got the Brooklyn Nets in Cleveland to take on the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's going to be a 7 o'clock Eastern start. Looking at the lines for this game, the Cleveland Cavaliers open up as a 2-point favorite. That number has pretty much stayed at -2 in this game. For the total, 220.5 was the opening number. Still see some 220.5s out there. I see a 221 and 220, so not much movement on the total. Looking at the injury report for both of these teams, let's start with the road team here, the Brooklyn Nets. The only player that is going to be out is going to be Joe Harris. He's dealing with a left knee soreness. And for the Cleveland Cavaliers, pretty clean injury report other than Dean Wade, who has a left shoulder sprain. We've talked a lot about the Cleveland Cavaliers, especially at home so far this season, where they've just been really good. They're 13-5 again, 13-5-1 against the spread at home, 12-5-1 as home favorites, and also trending towards the under. But let's start with the side here. Delonte, let me start with you on this game. Cleveland Cavaliers are a 2-point home favorite hosting Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets. What do you like about the side on this game?
Actually, it's really good game. Both teams playing extremely well. I don't think anybody's playing as well as Brooklyn is. Won 9 of the last 10, 6-4 ATS in that span. They won 5 straight, playing very well defensively. I think Ben Simmons is getting more confidence, and he's just doing what we all just want him to do: just play defense, rebound, and facilitate. So he mostly plays in that dunker spot, and that allows teams to either guard him with the big and he goes bottom, or guard him with a smaller player and he can just go to the rack on him, post him up, or dump off to KD and Kyrie in the corners. As far as from a matchup perspective, I think it's going to be interesting because the Cavaliers, they don't push the pace at all. They're 30th in pace.
Yeah.
And while Brooklyn doesn't like to, run and gun, they do, run more than Cleveland. So it'll be interesting to see who dictates the pace. Cleveland 4-1 last 5 straight up, 2-3 ATS. I think Jared Allen has a big game simply because, the Nets, they just don't have size right now other than Claxton. If he gets in foul trouble with those two monsters on the inside with Mobley and Allen, it's going to be, slim pickings for the Nets inside. But other than that, I think both teams are efficient in the half court. They're top 5 in points per play in the half court sets offensively. And Brooklyn, they struggle to rebound. So I think Allen, Mobley, both of those guys will have good nights. As far as the side, I probably lean to Cleveland just because they're the home team. I like both teams. I want to bet on both teams, so I won't be betting this personally. But if I had to play it, I play Cleveland at home strictly because of home court advantage.
Yeah, the Brooklyn Nets here have quietly won. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 of their last 13 games, including, I believe it's at 8 straight for the Brooklyn Nets. So they're playing really good basketball here as a team. And, you're right that Ben Simmons, excuse me, is starting to look more comfortable within the offense, playing defense, dishing it out to Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant just doing Kevin Durant things so far this season. And Cleveland on the other side, they've won 5 in a row as well. And we talked about how good this team is at home as well. Terrell, what do you got for this game? -2 for the Cleveland Cavaliers hosting the Brooklyn Nets.
I think the issue here for me is the fact that Brooklyn, as Delonte said, has been the best team since Jackie Vaughn has taken over. There's not one of the top teams. They are the best team record-wise. Well, I don't think ATS-wise, but record-wise, they are the best team since Jackie Vaughn taken over. So that just speaks to him as a coach and him being able to turn this team around and how they feel getting up behind him in the rest of this season. So now you come in here with the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are going to, do what they do and guard the paint. They're going to run a slow pace. They're going to try to make you play in the half court and defend you in the half court. And I think the issue that they're going to have is that Brooklyn is a jump shooting team. Like, Brooklyn can take mid-range jump shot. They have a number of guys that can make a high percentage mid-range jump shots. And I'm not just talking about KD and Kyrie. Like, they have a lot of guys that can score the basketball in the mid-range. They can score the basketball from deep. And I think that they're going to have an issue trying to guard all of those options when they're not driving into the paint. Like, when they're not focused on scoring in the painted area. Brooklyn is, I believe, 19th in the last 5 games in terms of points in the paint. However, they're winning games. They're putting up points. It's because they don't have to score inside the paint area. So that's going to be an issue for Cleveland. And then I also think that Brooklyn, while their defense is better, Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland are going to give them a handful. Like, that backcourt against Kyrie, against whoever else they want to throw out there, that's going to give them some issues. We're going to see how Ben Simmons is able to contain one of them. I expect to see him probably on Donovan Mitchell, and this could be more of a Darius Garland game of Darius Garland being able to get off Maybe looking at a 3-point prop for Darius Garland as well. But I expect to see Ben Simmons guarding a lot of Donovan Mitchell, especially because there's a little bit of a tension there. Hey, don't forget, Ben Simmons won Rookie of the Year in his sophomore year, took it from Donovan Mitchell. There always has been a little bit of a rivalry and a showmanship. And, Spider cracking jokes that, he wasn't a rookie and won Rookie of the Year. So I think that this is going to be a good opportunity for those two to have a really fun matchup. I like to see how Ben steps up and takes the challenge, but I think this is a Darius Garland game. I'm going to go with the Nets just because I trust more options of the Nets. I know the Cavs are at home, but I think I trust more options of the Nets than I do the Cavs right now. But I think my favorite play in this game is the over. I love the over in this game. I think that they both can attack the soft spots in each other's defense. The Nets are probably going to try to speed the game up at some point, and the Cavs can be really, really efficient on the offensive side of end with the limited possessions that they have. So I think this is a game that really sneaks over. So give me over 220.5.
Yeah, that was my favorite play in this game as well, the over. I also do lean with the Brooklyn Nets here in this game. And, like you mentioned, that they're just playing great basketball ever since Coach Vaughn took over for this Brooklyn Nets team. And obviously, this is a coach that these players want to play with, right? Last season we talked a lot about the drama and all the off-court stuff that was happening with this team. That distractions are not there right now for this organization. And they're just going out and playing basketball. Guys are healthy. I know Joe Harris is going to miss this game, but you still have Seth Curry, you still have Kyrie, Kevin Durant, Ben Simmons, Claxton. They have, guys that are playing with each other and playing for each other. And I think that's something that when we're betting on these teams that we want to see. And I think that the Brooklyn Nets are the epitome of that right now. So Cleveland, we've talked about how great they are at home, but yeah, I think you're 100% correct there, Terrell, that those mid-range jump shots where these guys can knock down, whether it's Kyrie, whether it's Kevin Durant, whether it's Seth Curry, guys like that. Yeah, I think that we may see a little more pace. I know we talked about both of these teams are well below league average as far as possessions and pace per game, but I think we may see some pace in this game between these two teams, at least in the first half. So yeah, I'm agreement with you about the over in this game between these two squads. Terrell, I know you mentioned Darius Garland props in this game, but any other player props you're looking at in this game?
Oh, man. So, yeah, Garland. I'm going to go Garland threes. I think that's a good look. Let's go to trying to think of anything that probably would be more beneficial. I mean, I think you got to go Kevin Durant just because Kevin Durant it's not good. Like Kevin Durant does have to get to the basket, and they don't really have anybody that can truly guard him.
Yeah.
You got big bodies that you could throw at him, but if he's stepping in the mid-range, I think he can easily get whatever he wants. This could be like a 30, 40-point game for Kevin Durant just because you look up and he made 5 shots in the first quarter, and then you look up again, and now he's like, 11 for 12, 11 for 13. Like, he can do that really, really quickly. So maybe we just go chalk and just ride Kevin Durant here. This seems like a really good matchup for him.
Yeah. Delonte, any player props you're looking at this game, my man?
Yeah, I like Jared Allen over 23.5 points plus rebounds. I mean, he hasn't had a lot of success like consistently as far as trend wise with going over this number. But if you look at some of the teams that he's played, the lesser teams as far as paint presence, he usually dominates. He had 15 boards against the Mavericks. He had 13 against the Lakers. I think AD was out of that game. So if you just play that card as far as the Nets don't have much inside other than Claxton, and if he gets in foul trouble, it's going to be maybe Ben Simmons playing, the small ball 5 a lot, and also maybe some Kevin Durant, which also leads me into another prop that I like, which is Ben Simmons over 6.5 rebounds at plus money. He's went over in 3 of the last 5. Like I said, Claxton gets in foul trouble, he's gonna have to go down and play some minutes in the paint. As will Kevin Durant. I like him over 5.5 rebounds. That's slightly, I think it's like 107. So just a little bit less juice. He's went over that number every game but 3 in the month of December. So I think 6 of 9. So I like both of those guys, rebound and prop. And you can get plus money on Jared Allen. I mean on Ben Simmons. So that's one of my favorite ones of the game is Ben Simmons over.
Yeah, I was looking at Ben Simmons' assist and rebounds in this game as well. The number's at 11.5. He's had at least 8 assists in 3 straight games. He's had 5 assists in 5 straight games. Over the last 5 games, he's averaging 7.2 rebounds and 6.8 assists per game. So, that might be worth a look. I like that rebounding call that you had there, Delonte, as well for Jared Allen. Guys, anything else for this game before we get to the next one?
Give me a second. Let's see.
Is that 11.5? What are the odds on the rebounds and assists?
Minus 120.
Oh, that's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
So Donovan Mitchell averages 22.3 points against Ben Simmons in his career. So
okay. So you think you probably pivot to Garland then, huh?
Yeah, I feel confident in Garland having a pretty solid day because I think they focus in on Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, let me see how Darius Garland has done against the Nets, because I think that's a good pivot call there, Terrell.
Yeah, because Kyrie will probably spend a lot of time on him.
Yeah, that's not right. Let's see here. Darius Garland versus Nets. He's at 31. So last 4 games, 31, 22, 24, and 24.
Yeah, not bad.
And then 2 of those 4 games, he's had a double-double. Let me see his 3-point prop before we move on, because he's hit at least 2. It's at 1.5 at minus 155. So I don't know if you want to go put a same game parlay here. There's a couple options there for you guys, but yeah, I love that.
You said Garland's 3-point prop is at 1.5?
1.5 minus 155.
I would just buy it up to 2 and just get it to like minus 120, minus 125.
Because he's hit at least 2 in 6 career games against the Nets. 3, 1, 3, 2, 2, and 3. So yeah, you're right. Probably you want to buy that up to 2.
Yeah, I would just to get less juice on it. I mean, the Nets are they are top 10 in effective field goal percentage, but they do struggle somewhat with defending the 3. So you're 23rd in 3-point defense. So you could see some looks from Garland, simply because they're going to be so concerned with guarding Allen and Mobley in the paint, because I mean they're going to have to double one of those guys. I mean, they only have Claxton. I mean, that's it. So
yeah, I think I feel confident laddering, doing like a ladder parlay with KD and Garland. I think that's a good play tonight.
Yeah, I think that is Garland, and you said Durant. Terrell?
Yeah, Garland, Durant.
Okay. All right, let's get over to the next game of the night. It's going to be the LA Clippers in the Motor City to take on the Detroit Pistons. Looking at the opening line for this game, the Clippers opened up as a minus 8-point favorite. That number has now been bet down to minus 6. Total opened up at 223. The number's been bet up to 224.5. Looking at the injury report for both of these teams, for the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard is listed out for this game. He is going to be on injury management for his right knee. Other than that, pretty much everybody is a go. John Wall, Paul George are all going to be playing in this game. For the Detroit Pistons, pretty clean injury report as well. Isaiah Livers continues to be out with the right shoulder sprain, and we already know about Cade Cunningham missing the rest of the season. Detroit has been one of those teams, for whatever reason, this has not been very good defensively at home over the last 10 games. They are the worst rated defensive team at home, where on the road, I believe they were above league average. I'll try to look that up here. But Delonte, let me start with you on this game. Clippers minus 6 going into Detroit to take on the Detroit Pistons. What are you thinking about this game?
Yeah, I mean, just to be completely honest, I wouldn't bet this game either way. That's one of our advantages. We don't have to bet every game. Yep. I don't see much value in either side. The Clippers, we all know, most of the stats are, it's kind of watered down because they don't have all of the guys playing at one time or for a consistent stretch. But they do play defense. I guess I can't say that about them. Ty Lue does have those guys playing defense, 3rd in points allowed per 100 possessions. But offensively, they're horrible. 30th in offensive rating, 28th in points scored per 100 possessions. But like you mentioned, Detroit not good at defending. So that could lead to some points for the Clippers. And honestly, the Clippers have been an over team. They playing good defense, but they have been an over team. 6 of the last 10 have went over. 10 of 16 on the road have went over also. And Detroit, while they're not playing a lot of defense, they are able to get out, run, get those young guys in transition and be able to score on a consistent basis. They started off going a little bit slower, and now they sped up the pace with some of the rotations they've switched on. Lost 5 straight, 1-4 ATS in the last 5. Like 11 of the 16 home games have went over, so I'm more confident in the over 220.5 than I am. I mean the what is it 220.
224.5.
224.5. I was looking at the banner wrong. Yeah, 224.5 for the total versus going over on the side. I just don't think that Detroit has enough horses to be able to contain Paul George and John Wall to a lesser extent, and it's just too deep. And Detroit's not going to know what to do with it. Although Detroit has been tested, they have played the number 1 overall toughest schedule in the NBA, so they're not going to be, I guess, afraid or they're going to come to play. They just don't have enough talent without Cade in the lineup to be able to do anything. So I would, more so go to the total than I would the side. I mean, if I had to play the side, I would probably just play the Clippers simply because I don't think Detroit has enough to contain Paul George.
Yeah, right now the Detroit Pistons have lost, let's see, 8 out of their last 9 games. And in those losses, or at least in the last 5 games, they've given up 122, 124, 126, 113 to the Sixers, and they gave up 132 at Atlanta before Christmas. So now you have a Clippers team, despite not having Kawhi Leonard in the lineup here tonight. I think they still have enough scorers and guys that can put the ball inside the basket to probably get over their team total. So that maybe that's a worth a look for the Clippers here tonight.
Yep.
I still think they're a good offensive team, even with Kawhi Leonard not on the floor, because they just have so many options, and they are one of the deepest teams in the entire league. I couldn't bring myself to a side either here, so I think I was looking more at a Clippers team total over in this game. Terrell, what do you got for this game? We can start with the side if you have an opinion there, if you also want to chime in on the total.
Yeah, no, y'all overthinking this. Y'all not laying points with the Clippers on the road. Like, you're not laying points with Clippers on the road in Detroit. So let's go. First of all, let's rewind, take this back in time. All right. Last 7 games, Clippers have won the last 7 games against this team. All right, great, cool. They're dominating them. All right, let's look a little bit deeper into the looking glass here, because last 5 games, Clippers are 0-3-2 ATS versus this team. They have not covered a single game. They pushed twice, and they have not covered as a 10.5 point favorite, 11.5 point favorite, and 13 point favorite. So what that tells me already is that this Clippers team was head and shoulders better than this Detroit team and could not get it done. I don't think that this is a spot where I want to back a Clippers team on the road after the holidays laying points against a Pistons team that they can't cover and haven't been able to cover with the last 5 games. I'm all right. I'm really good on it. So y'all saying that y'all not interested in betting this game, I'll bet this game. I'll bet the Pistons +6. I'll take the Pistons on the money line. I think that this is a good spot because they've given this team games before. I don't trust this Clippers offense. They're too up and down. They're too head and shoulders. You sit here and you say, yeah, they have all these options that can score the basketball, but they don't do it. Yeah. They don't do it at times. And so, yes, Detroit has one of the worst defenses in the league in the past 5 games. Actually, 27th, if we want to be exact. So I 100% get that. However, 96-91, 106-102, 105-96, 198. Finally, we get to 131, 124. Even if this gets into a shootout, Detroit has proven to us over the course of this season that they've been playing through teams that they can go into a shootout with teams and be able to come out all right. Yeah. So, yeah, I will back Detroit here getting 6 points at home right after the holidays. Yeah, I feel comfortable with that. A lot of money's coming in on the Clippers. Not total, but the line came down a couple points, probably because Kawhi was announced out.
Yeah.
And honestly, 11:39 time of recording, there's probably going to be some more outs by this Clippers team. We know how they do. So Get the line at the best number that you can get now. I'm on Detroit +6, sprinkle on the money line.
Terrell is the resident expert on the Detroit Pistons, so I'm not going to question him here at all about the Detroit Pistons. Player props for look. Go ahead.
Yeah, like the Pistons. I mean, they are feisty, but they don't have. I don't know if they have enough talent to score. Like that's what I'm worried about. Like the Clippers defensively, even with some guys out, they still play good defense. And I don't know if Detroit will be able to score. Now I'm not going against you. I'm gonna go ahead and
No,
say
no,
that
no.
right.
I feel it.
Yeah, I'm not. But I just don't think that they can score enough to be able to, back them on a consistent basis. I'm just looking at the overall picture as far as the Pistons. Now, if Cade was there, obviously I'm a big Cade guy. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just don't think they have enough defensively or offensively to be able to stay within the number. I would look for them a team total under. But if you like Detroit, I would go under. If you like the Clippers, I would go over. And I like the over better than I do anything else in the game.
I think that the point that Terrell made as well, and I think we discussed it earlier, is that maybe road teams are a little flat after Christmas, having to travel, going into these or traveling on the road and having to, do they want to get up for those games after they've spent, Christmas with their families and things like that. So I think that's going to be something interesting to see here tonight. Marvin Bagley is officially questionable here tonight. Just came
Yes.
across with an illness here, so keep that in mind.
By the
Maybe
way, Clippers.
but
My fault.
yeah, no, you're
Clippers
good.
played at Philadelphia on the Friday 23rd. So they played at Philadelphia. More than likely, they flew home. So they
Yeah,
probably flew home for Christmas and then spent Christmas in the morning, flew back
at night.
to the East Coast to Detroit, or everybody came out there with them. Either way, it's not a good spot. This doesn't feel like a good spot for Clippers at all.
Yeah, that's a great point. Player props in this game, guys. Delonte, I'll start with you.
I didn't see many at all. I guess because of the for the Clippers, especially just because they don't know who's in and who's out. If I was playing, I probably won't play anything in this game. To be honest with you, I would look at Jaden Ivey turnovers. I think you put me on that a while back. Usually against aggressive defensive teams, he has the ball in his hand a lot. He tends to turn it over. I mean, he's young, he's still learning, and I think the Clippers can get out and turn him over, put some pressure on him. I would look at him and also Norm Powell over points. That's the only two that I like.
Yeah, Jaden Ivey's turnovers right now are at 2.5 at
Mhm.
plus
Oh yeah,
115.
love that. Love the plus money on that. I didn't see Norman Powell. What's his points? Should be like
I don't see that out yet. Only player
yeah,
I see points prop for on the Clipper side is Paul George at
yeah,
24.5.
yeah.
I might go back to the wagon of Jalen Duren rebounds. It is at 9.5 at minus 140. A little bit of juice there, but he's been rebounding the ball very well for this team. And now with Marvin Bagley questionable here tonight with illness, he should get the bulk of the minutes here tonight. So maybe another double-digit rebounding night for Jalen Duren. Terrell, any player props you look at in this game, my man?
Yeah, I'm probably going to go back to Killian Hayes over assist, just
like
because
that.
I think that the Pistons are going to be able to score. And
Yep.
if they're going to score, he's the one point guard, ball handler, facilitator of the offense. And then I'm also going to Bojan. Bojan over 19.5 points. He's hit this number in the last 3 games against the Clippers. Again, I think that this is a flat spot for the Clippers, not just offensively, but defensively as well. I think the Pistons are going to find ways to be able to score the basketball, and Bojan's been their leading scorer over the course of the season and found ways to get it done. Plus, I just like backing him against those Western Conference foes because he knows them so well.
Yeah, that's a great point. Anything else for this game, guys, before we get over to the next game?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Next game of the night, the Minnesota Timberwolves headed down to South Beach to take on the Miami Heat. Looking at the opening lines for this game, I am currently seeing that. Let's see here. Miami Heat opened up as a 4.5-point home favorite. That number's now been bet down to -2. Total opened up at 223.5. That number is now around 221.5 across most of the books. Look at the injury report for both of these teams. Let's start here with the road team, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Kyle Anderson is questionable here tonight with back spasms. Jordan McLaughlin and Torian Prince are both out. And Cat is still out with the right calf strain. For the Miami Heat, a lot of questionable tags here. Let's start with Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, and Udonis Haslem, and Gabe Vincent. 4 players that are questionable here tonight. Dwayne Dedman is out, and Caleb Martin is probable here tonight for the Miami Heat. Miami Heat has been a team that have struggled. I think that's been a understatement here this season, especially against the spread. 10, 21, and 2 overall against the spread, but at home so far this season, 3-13-1 against the spread as a home favorite, 3-12-1. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, they haven't been very good against the spread on the road either. They're 6-10 overall, 2-7 as road underdogs so far this season. But Terrell, let me start with you on this game. Miami, a 2-point favorite hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves. What do you like about this game?
Yeah. Well, so easy thing for me. I always back the Timberwolves versus the Heat.
Okay.
It's just a smash spot. You look at what the Timberwolves are able to do to Heat, and they've won. What's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the last 10 games versus the Heat. And you can go back even further than that. They just some reason they dominate this Heat team. They have a really good record playing the Heat in recent history, and I'm going to back that. I'm not taking the Heat laying points at home. We've already talked about this all season, how bad they are as a favorite, how bad they are at home as a favorite. And to this day, sorry, still fighting that cold a little bit. But to this day, if you are a season ticket holder for the Miami Heat, you haven't seen a win in 2 weeks,
At
3
home.
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. But as a season ticket holder, you're only going to the home games. You
Yeah,
haven't
right.
seen a win in forever.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
not good at home. They're
Yeah.
not good at home. They're not good as a favorite at home. Absolutely not. And so I'm just not going to lay points with this Heat team. I don't care if it's 2. I don't care if it's 3. I'm going to take a Timberwolves team that gets up for this Heat team no matter what the situation is. They have the opportunity to go in here and get a really big win on the road. I know that this kind of goes against my home teams after Christmas, but I'm just not. I can't lay points with this Heat team right now. I cannot. It doesn't matter who it is. I cashed last time taking the Pacers against the Heat at home. I'm going to do it again here with the Timberwolves.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue against it, right? I mean, this team has just been atrocious at home. I mean, there's no better way of putting it for the Miami Heat. And a lot of guys have been in and out of the lineup for them, a lot of questionable tags. And it's almost like you have to wait till closer to game time to bet this game or bet any Miami Heat game just because of their injury report. So, yeah, I'm not going to fault you for betting against the Miami Heat, especially at home where they've just been so bad. Delonte, thoughts on this game between the Wolves and the Heat?
Man, I think you guys pretty much hit on everything. I don't want to bet on either of these teams. Both of you guys rattled off the stats as far as ATS for Minnesota on the road and Miami at home. Miami 2-7-1, ATS the last 10. They just Miami, when Jimmy Butler's in and they're motivated, they play well. But when he's not playing, they just kind of go through the motions. Minnesota, they look extremely more efficient and more more free flowing whenever Gobert was out for that 3 or 4 game stretch. And then he came back, of course, and they lost 2 straight. They had 1-3 without him, and then he comes back and they lose 2.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're middle of the pack in defensive and offensive rating. They don't do anything extremely well, but they don't do anything extremely bad as far as Minnesota. They are efficient at the rim. Most of that is due to Rudy Gobert shooting like 60+% because all he does is dunk. But Miami, they've won 3 of the last 5. They haven't covered but only one of those games. So like I said, it's just you got to pretty much handicap motivation. If Miami's going to be motivated, they are at home. They didn't have to, travel. So maybe Minnesota's in a bad spot as far as from a traveling perspective. But like Cam in the chat said, I'm pretty sure they're excited to get away from that weather in Minnesota and come to some heat in Miami. But I don't know. I wouldn't play either side. Miami does struggle scoring 24th in points scored per 100 possessions, and Minnesota is not as good from a perimeter-oriented defensive perspective than they are inside with Gobert. I wouldn't play the side. I would lean to the under if I had to play anything in this game, simply because both teams play at a slower pace. Miami's 28th in pace. Minnesota, they are middle of the pack in pace, 16th. But they still want to slow the ball down and try to let Gobert get up the court so they can run a screen and roll with Russell and Edwards. But other than that, not much on this game, man. I'm rambling. I don't have nothing on this game at all.
Yeah, Bam is going to be out for this game as well for the Miami Heat. I don't think I
Oh,
mentioned that. That
oh.
note just came across a little bit ago.
Bam,
Bam is out.
and Dedmon.
Yeah. So
Excuse
I
me.
don't know.
Wow, I
Maybe
can't fight this, but it's Bam and Dedmon both around.
both are out. Yeah. So it might just be that
I'll
you
probably
might
be
want to
on
look at some Rudy Gobert rebounding props here tonight.
He better have like 20 rebounds in this
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, he better. I was already liking him over points and rebounds anyway, but that's just even more of a smash spot.
Yeah, Kyle pointing out he's in Minnesota and he says, "Trust me, they're glad to be down in Miami. I'm more confident with the over in this game." So, um, one thing I will wait for in this game is probably Tyler Hero 3-point props because Minnesota is just not very good at defending the 3-point line. You kind of just look at some of their numbers. They are number 26 as far as 3-point percentage allowed. They're dead last, and as far as 3-point makes allowed per game at 14, around 14 per game. So, if Jimmy Butler is out here tonight, it's usually always a Tyler Hero show, and he's been playing well. Minnesota also gives up 43 attempts to their opponents, which ranks dead last so far this season. So maybe some 3-point props to look at in this game. Any player? I know the props aren't out yet. A lot of guys maybe in on the lineup for Miami, but Terrell, any other player props you may be looking at?
Yeah. So I'm definitely on Rudy Gobert. I think I want to be kind of cute and play a Rudy Gobert first quarter rebounds over 3.5 at plus money, just because I think that both of these teams are going to be a little flat to start. Just with the holidays, everybody's got ham and all this other stuff in their stomach. Come out a little flat earlier in the first quarter, and that opens up the opportunity for Rudy Gobert to get a bunch of easy rebounds early.
Yep.
And then, regardless if Jimmy Butler plays or not, I'm still backing Tyler Hero. And whether I get him at a more favorable number, whether I have to pay more, but I'm going to back Tyler Hero just because he's been good. He's been probably the most consistent thing on this team while they've been having this terrible stretch of games. And whether win or lose, he normally gets his. So
yeah. Colby asking, not our Colby, but a Colby fan of the show. Would you rather go Rudy rebounds only or PRA for Rudy?
I would just strictly go points and rebounds. That I seen it at 27.5. He's went over in he's went over in 5 of the last 7. He's got a favorable matchup. No Bam. Deadman is out. Deadman is out. You said, or is he probably?
He's out as well.
Yeah. So yeah, Bam, Deadman out. He should have a field. Like he should have like 15 and 20. Like I think he really should dominate on the glass. And as far as the other player props, I like with you guys. I like Tyler Hero. I would probably go for 30 plus on Tyler Hero and get a plus price. I don't know what is his points prop usually. It's like 22. I guess it just depends on who's in the lineup.
Yeah, it really just depends on who's in and out of the lineup.
So if you can find a 30 plus, if
the lowest he probably is 20 and a half, 21 and a half. That's probably the lowest.
Even if Butler's in, they got to get some offense from somewhere. He plays well off the pick and roll. So I think Hero can light up Minnesota. And I was looking at something that Rail sparked something to my interest as far as slow starts. So I like the first quarter under for this game, under 57. Both teams should be coming out sluggish. The Heat, when they they take time to get going. So whenever they are into the second and third quarter, they start flowing a little bit better. And that's due to coaching. We all know Spo's a great coach. That comes with coaching. And I think Minnesota, they might be, spend some time on the beach, just happy to get away from that snow and that cold weather. So they might come out a little bit sluggish. So I like that under first quarter. 57 is the number that I see. So I guess that would be a play on it.
Yeah, last one before we move on. Lane asking, it's a possible and Edwards spot. I see his points prop at 24.5.
Man, Anthony Edwards probably at a strip club last night.
That might be motivation for him.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't know. It has to be if Jimmy Butler's out, then I would play Anthony Edwards. But if he's in, like Jimmy takes this like people like guarding people. He's one of the guards or the forwards, I guess if you want to call them, who really like takes advantage of guarding the team's best player. Like he takes that to heart. And I think he could slow down Anthony Edwards a little bit. But if he's not in, good spot for Anthony Edwards. So.
Troy, any thoughts on Ant tonight?
Nah, no thoughts.
All right, let's get over to the next game of the night. It's going to be the Houston Rockets in Chicago to take on the Chicago Bulls. This line opened up in favor of the Chicago Bulls at -8.5. That number's been bet down to -7.5. Total opened up at 227.5 in this game. That number's been bet up to 230. Looking at the injury report for both of these teams, for the Rockets, only questionable tag is Eric Gordon here tonight, and for the Chicago Bulls, Alex Caruso is out. Javonte Green is doubtful, and Derrick Jones Jr. is also doubtful here tonight for the Bulls. Terrell, let me start with you on this game. Chicago Bulls hosting the Houston Rockets as a 7.5-point home favorite. What are you thinking?
Yeah, chalk. Just give me the Bulls. Rockets not good. I'm not taking the Rockets on the road. I know it's a large number. I know the Bulls are not my favorite team in the league by far, but I think this is just a spot where you could catch the Rockets sleeping, especially after the holidays, and the Bulls at home a little motivated. Families are there, probably have extended families in Chicago. And this is probably a game that people went and bought tickets for like early and said, hey, yeah, come watch me play in this game. Like grandma, aunts, uncles, cousins, all that stuff. Like, wait, we're gonna have Christmas at my house. I'm gonna set it up. I'm gonna have a spread. I get paid millions of dollars, so you ain't got to worry about paying nothing. And then we gonna all go the next day, go catch the game. Like, this just feels like a very comfortable, my family is in the building, I'm about to go out here and drop 35 type spot for the Bulls. So yeah, I'm all over the Bulls here. -7.5. I would actually take that up to the 11+ win margin. They buried the Rockets today.
Delonte, thoughts on the side here?
Yeah, I like the Bulls as well. Not to bag on your Rockets, man, but they're just horrible at shooting, horrible at defending. 27th in point differential, 6-9-1 ATS on the road. Losers of 5 straight, 1-3-1 ATS. So I think it's a good spot for the Bulls, like Real said. They're returning home from that 4-game road stretch where they went 3-2 ATS and straight up. They have covered and won the last 3. They play defense. The Rockets are youthful. They want to get out and run. So I think the Bulls can limit that. I think it's a home run spot for the Bulls, man. Like I'm with Rail on this. I love the Bulls. I love them so much. I would probably play them first quarter, first half, and full game. I'll probably be on all 3 of those plays. Yeah, I'll play every one. Like I'll split up, like if your unit size, whatever, just go like third, and third, like, just to add it up like that. I guess 33 is a better math.
Yeah. I mean, there's no secret. This Rockets team is just not very good at all. And obviously, we knew that coming into this season. They just don't have an identity on offense. And speaking as a Rockets fan, it just seems like Steven Silas just doesn't know who to run this offense through. Whether that's Jalen Green, whether that's Şengün, or whether that's Kevin Porter Jr. So, not a team that I want to be behind right now. They do play well in the first halves, but in the second half, they just kind of forget how to play basketball. And I think that's really been the story for this Rockets team. So, I'm with you guys on the Bulls. I think my more favorite player prop in this game is going to be Zach LaVine's threes. Rockets are just not very good at defending the 3-point line. 22 and 3-point percentage allowed. They allow 14 makes per game, which ranks number 29, right down there with the Minnesota Timberwolves. And also, they allow their opponents to get up about 39 attempts per game, which ranks number 29 in the entire league as well. So, Zach LaVine right now is at 2.5 at -120. That's probably one of my favorite player props in this game. We didn't touch on the total. I'll probably look at Chicago Bulls team total, if anything, in this game. I agree with you guys. It's probably a smash spot, and they are able to put up points, are the Chicago Bulls in this game. But Delonte, if you want to touch on the total, if you have anything, and if any player props that you do like in this game as well.
Total wise, I would just lean over simply because as you alluded to, Houston's not good at defending the 3, so I think those threes will start falling for Patrick Williams. For even DeRozan might hit a 3. Shit, I mean, who knows? Like that's how bad Houston is. But LaVine, I like that play with LaVine for his threes. And just to circle back real quick so people can have numbers. So I got 2.5 as a first quarter for the Bulls, and 4.5 at plus money for the half. So I'll definitely be on those. And one of my favorite player props for the entire slate is my man Kobe White, over 8.5 points. No Caruso. He's going to be more involved in the offense. Even with Caruso, he's went over in 5 of the last 7. So I mean, if you know Kobe White, he's a North Carolina guy. I've seen him in high school, college. So if you know anything about him, he doesn't lack confidence. So when he gets in, he's going to let it fly. And Houston can't defend, so when he lets it fly, he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be pretty he's gonna be pretty big in this matchup as far as making threes. I didn't see a threes prop, but if that does pop up, I'm pretty sure to be 1.5, 2. I'd be over that as well. So love Kobe White tonight as one of my favorite player props.
All right, Terrell, thoughts on the total and then any player props you do like in this game?
All right, let's see here. I am on Kevin Porter Jr. tonight. I was trying to figure out who in that backcourt was going to do the scoring for Houston because somebody's going to score. And I told myself that I'm going to go with the guy that's more of a slasher, gets to the rim. Kevin Porter Jr., 10 points in the paint this season, averages 10 points in the paint per game this season. And if you know about this Bulls team, one, Caruso is out, and then two, they don't have any inside presence at all. Like there's nobody scaring me on the inside to stop anybody from getting to the rim. So Kevin Porter Jr. feels like the better bet. At 18.5 points, I think he can get to 20 in this game. So I'll take Kevin Porter Jr. over 18.5 for a Rockets player that you can low-key kind of parlay with the Bulls to have a really good game. Matter of fact, let me just do that real quick because that sounds fun. So Kevin Porter Jr., let's say he gets 20 points, but they still get blown out. That is going to be win margin 11 plus about plus 470. So pretty decent odds. I like the chances of that.
Yeah. All right. Let's move over to the next game of the night. That's going to be the Indiana Pacers in the Big Easy to take on the New Orleans Pelicans. Big news that did come down for this game. We'll get to the injury report here in a second, and that's why the line has significantly moved here. This line opened up -6.5 in favor of the New Orleans Pelicans. That now is down to -2.5. Total opened up at 231.5. That number's at 234 right now. Let's just start with the New Orleans Pelicans injury report here. While we're recording this pod, the injury report that did come out is that Zion was initially not on the injury report, but is now listed as doubtful here tonight against the Pacers. Also,
Boy ate too much last night.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
He ate too much. Boy ate too. Hey, I know. I had the itis too. I had the itis last night too. I know what it is. That boy ate too much, and he said, "I don't think I can go today." We'll see. Hopefully, I could drop this load before game time, and I'll be able to go. But right now, I'm a little backed up, and it's going to be hard. So I'm just not going to worry about that. And I'll catch you on the flip side the next game. But this might be one I had to sit out. It was, come on, they're in New Orleans too. Gumbo, people eat gumbo on Christmas. Like that's what you do in our community. You eat gumbo on Christmas, and they're in New Orleans, the gumbo capital of the world. So that boy just had too much gumbo last night. That's really all it is.
Shout out to Cam too for it, man. He's sending an incredible updates. Like in the chat, incredible updates on
Zion Williamson out with the shits.
So Zion, Herb Jones is out with health and safety protocols. Dyson Daniels also illness is questionable for tonight, and then Trey Murphy's also illness now questionable here tonight on Monday. So significant injuries here for the New Orleans Pelicans. So let's call it -2.5, what is currently at for the Pelicans hosting the Indiana Pacers here, guys. Delonte, let me start with you on this game. -2.5 in favor of the Pelicans. With all those injuries and guys being out, what are you thinking about this line or this game?
Yeah, I mean, I just have to switch my whole handicap around. All that stuff came down. Honestly, I was looking at New Orleans because my philosophy on New Orleans is no matter who's in, they always seem to play well. It doesn't matter who's in and who's out. I was really looking forward to Herb Jones against Halliburton. I was really looking forward to that matchup. Mad, we're gonna be missing that. But currently, I mean, I would lean to Indiana. I mean, I think that all the players being out, and I mean, who knows if this is just the 12 o'clock report. I mean, who knows when that 3 o'clock report comes out, who's going to be on it, especially if they got illnesses going around in the locker room. But Indiana 4-1 ATS the last 5, 6-4 ATS the last 10, 10-7 on the road. They play really well on the road. They feed off Halliburton. He's trying to get that All-Star nod. They are middle of the pack offensive and defensive rating, but luckily for them, they don't have to deal with a lot of defenders for New Orleans. They're not gonna have Zion, they're not gonna have Ingram. McCollum is pretty much the only offensive factor that they gotta worry about. And then I seen somebody say in the chat that Trey Murphy was out as well, or doubtful as well. So it's gonna be a match unit. Usually I would be on the Pelicans, but at this juncture right now, I would I would just go ahead and play the Pacers money line instead of taking the 3, simply because you get a better bang for your buck. If the Pacers are competitive, they're going to win the game. You shouldn't have to worry about the 3 points. One
Yeah.
thing about Indiana is they are good at defending the rim, which is what the Pelicans do well. They're 27th in rim percentage, so they're getting good contributions from their paint, especially with Miles Turner down inside. So I would just play Indiana on the money line and look for some Miles Turner threes props and some Tyrese Halliburton points, rebounds, and assists.
Now, this might turn into a CJ McCollum game, obviously. He's only going to be the scoring option for the Indiana Pacers. Maybe, yeah, you're right. Valanciunas rebounding props once those do come out, but I don't have much for this game at all. I would lean towards, probably still lean towards the Pacers. I think they're playing good basketball right now. Like talking about Halliburton has been really good. And then they've beat 2 good teams in a row, right? They beat Boston, they beat Miami. Now they're down south against the New Orleans Pelicans. Now dealing with all those guys that may be out here tonight for the Pelicans. So, yeah, I would lean toward the Pacers. Not much for me on this game. Terrell, you have anything for this game between the Pacers and the Pelicans?
Yeah, I'm on the Pelicans.
Okay.
I think this is a spot for the Pelicans. I know we talk about the Pacers and how they are ATS, 10-7 on the road, 13-10 as underdogs. But you look at it a little bit deeper, and when you get to the money line, 8-9 on the money line on the road, 10-13 as underdogs. And you have this Pacers team who is really, really good at home. Like, they're really, really good at home. They're 11-9 ATS as a favorite. They are 10-7 at home, 17-15 on the season. And yes, no Zion. At this point, I'm used to it. Yeah. I'm used to Zion and Brandon Ingram not playing with this team right now, and they have the cohesion. Trey Murphy being out does add a little bit more, because that's a stretch forward that I really would like to space the floor there and keep them outside the paint. But I still think that this is a pretty good opportunity for this New Orleans team to just be able to get a lot of what they want on the inside. It's going to be a battle between Jonas Valanciunas and Miles Turner.
Yeah.
And I understand that I like Indiana. I like getting Indiana as a dog. But I think that now that the number has gotten to 3 and we're outside, we're in one possession, I feel really comfortable with the Pelicans here at home after Christmas to be able to get this done. So I'm going to take the Pelicans here, -3.
Yeah, if Jose Alvarado does get the start here tonight with all those guys missing, I'm pretty sure he'll be matched up on Halliburton. That's going to be a matchup that I'm really excited to watch if he can slow down Tyrese, especially how much of a tear that he has been on recently. But player props may be hard to get to if you guys are looking at anything for the Pacers or even the Pelicans now. But Terrell, you have anything for player props?
Yeah, I'll go back to CJ's assist. Okay. And just that I'm not really scared of this defense of the Pacers. I know that Miles Turner is holding down that painted area a little bit, but this Pacers team still cannot rotate over all the way on these 3-point shots, and that can open things up a little bit. So I'm still going to be on CJ's assist. I think he'll be able to run the offense, and maybe even Jose Alvarado. If he's officially in that starting lineup, I may look towards his assist as well, because he's going to be handling the ball, especially how you know that he can create turnovers, and he gets a lot of assists off of those turnovers as well. So I like that look, probably CJ or Jose Alvarado assist. And I mean, I feel like CJ's just been crazy. I can't not back him on his points here.
Yeah, he's at 25.5 right now. Is CJ McCollum's points, and then 7.5 at +105 for his assist here tonight. Again, against the shorthanded Pelicans taking on the Pacers. Delonte, quickly, if you have any player props in this game.
Yeah, like I was alluding to earlier, I like Miles Turner over threes made 1.5. It's reduced juice, like -106, -105. Love that play. I love his points and rebounds, simply because inside presence. Valanciunas is not going to be on him as much because he can't move laterally as well as Miles Turner.
Yeah.
So I like him to have a big game. So over 23.5 points and rebounds, over 1.5 threes made. And also I would look at his over 1.5 blocks plus steals, because he's going to be a defender in the paint. He's an anchor for that defense. He allows Indiana to play aggressive up front because they know they have, a shot blocker behind him. So they can play a lot more aggressive. Simply because they're not worried about if they get beat. I mean, oh well, we got Miles back there. He's going to take care of it, and he's going to erase it and get it out to Halliburton, and we're going to get out in transition and run. So love Miles Turner tonight. Also, I would lean to Buddy Hield having a good game as well. I think he'll knock down a few threes and get into rhythm. So that's just the two that I like as of right now. I think his points total is at 16.5. So I like that as well.
Buddy Hield coming back to New Orleans as well.
Yeah. That's I didn't think about that, but that's a good angle.
Yeah, his threes, it has to be 3.5. I don't think it'll be anything less than that. Let me double check here.
Yeah, let me look at his
Yeah, 3.5 at plus 110. Yeah, plus money maybe if you want to get on that. All right, next game on the schedule. 2 games left here, guys. Let's go over to San Antonio. The Utah Jazz are in San Antonio here tonight to take on hosting the Utah Jazz. This line opened up in favor of the Utah Jazz. Let's see here, -4.5. That number has pretty much stayed the course at -4.5. Total opened up at 236. That number's been bet down half a point to 235.5 in this game. Looking at the injury report for both of these teams, for the Utah Jazz, Kelly Olynyk continues to be out for the Utah Jazz. He's dealing with a left ankle sprain. And for the San Antonio Spurs, pretty clean injury report. Nobody's on the injury report. So everybody is a go in this game for both of these squads. Terrell, let me start with you on this game. Utah Jazz -4.5 in San Antonio tonight as a road favorite. What are you thinking?
Come on now, so easy. Utah Jazz road favorite. We're back in the Spurs. It doesn't matter. Give me the Spurs +4.5. Sprinkle on the money line. We talk about how bad the Spurs defense is. The Jazz defense really isn't too much better than them, to be honest. I think that we're going to see an incredible amount of scoring, especially coming off of the holidays for these two teams. I think that they just can't guard anything. I think that when you talk about Lauri Markkanen, you talk about Devin Vassell, you talk about Keldon Johnson, you talk about all the different options that these teams have. And while nobody has the big, bright name, all of these scorers are gifted. And I think they're just going to get to their spots and be able to score. This feels like a really good bounce-back game for Devin Vassell, who's been in a little bit of a shooting slump recently, especially coming back at home. Yeah, I'm back in the Spurs here. I'm not taking the Jazz as a favorite. Like we talked about this enough. So give me the Spurs +4.5. Sprinkle on the money line.
Delonte?
Yeah, I guess we're gonna disagree. I like the Jazz. I don't like anything about the Spurs at all. I mean, defensively was the only problem that I had with the Jazz as far as them being able to cover short road numbers. And lately they've been playing well defensively, especially with Markkanen, and they got Sexton back. I mean, Sexton's not gonna play defense, but he just allows them to play more like of a junk zone. They've been throwing at teams. They play a lot of the 2-3, a lot of the matchup zone, simply because they have depth and they can outrun people. They're incredible in transition. Now they can't defend in transition. That's one of the places that they haven't improved at, but they have improved in defending. They top 10 in effective field goal percentage and 3-point percentage defense. They also are top 10 in effective field goal percentage and 3-point percentage as far as offensive standpoint. Nothing I like about the Spurs. I mean, bottom 3 in offensive and defensive rating, 30th in effective field goal percentage and effective 3-point percentage defense. So it's going to be a lot of opportunities for Utah to make a splash and make some threes. Utah offensively is, I mean, it's not a blimp anymore. It's not like a facade anymore. Like they are a really efficient, well-oiled offensive team, and I don't think the Spurs have enough to combat with that. I don't know, man. This might be our first disagreement, real. I like the Jazz a lot in this spot.
Yeah, I think defense is definitely going to be questionable in this game, for sure. I mean, obviously, the total is indicative of that 235.5. Yeah, I like taking home dogs, no matter how bad they are. I think Spurs are in that spot here as well. Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, these guys are pretty much your offense. I think they're going to have success here tonight against this Jazz team. So I think we'll see a lot of pace in this game. We'll see a lot of back and forth. But I think at the end of the day, Jazz probably pull it out by maybe 2 points here. But I think at 4.5, when you're getting outside of 2 possessions here, I think that, or a little less than 2 possessions with 3-point shots and stuff like that. But we talked about Terrell has hit the nail on the head that on the road, or if they're a favorite, you want to fade them, and that's probably been profitable so far this season. Player props in this game, Terrell, if you're looking at any.
Oh yeah, I'm on Devin Vassell. That's my guy, and my
Yep.
guy's getting out his slump today. He is getting out of his slump today. I'm on Devin Vassell. I'll ladder Devin Vassell up. This is going to be his spot today. And I'm on a Spurs team total over. I
Okay.
am. So I think that they're going to be able to score last 5 games. The Jazz are dead last in opponent field goal percentage at 53.3%. They are dead last in opponent's 3-point percentage at 43.6%. And they are giving up 120 points per game, which is slightly better than the Spurs, who are giving up 120.6 points per game, but still not good. So, yeah, I think that since the Jazz are favorite, I'm getting a better line on the Spurs team total over. I'll definitely take that.
Delonte, player props.
I don't like anything player prop wise, to be honest. Nothing.
Okay.
I don't like nothing at all.
All right.
Nothing at all.
All right, let's get over to the last game of the night, gentlemen. Last game is going to be the Charlotte Hornets in Portland to take on the Trail Blazers. Looking at the opening lines for this game, the Portland Trail Blazers opened up as a -6-point favorite. That number has been slightly bet down to -5 over at WinBet. Total opened up at 238. That number has pretty much stayed the course at 238. Looking at the injury report for both of these teams, for the Charlotte Hornets, Cody Martin remains out. Nick Richards is doubtful here tonight, and Dennis Smith Jr. is also questionable here tonight for the Charlotte Hornets. For the Portland Trail Blazers, Josh Hart and Yusuf Nurkic are probable here tonight. Justice Winslow is going to be out for this game. He is dealing with a left ankle sprain, and that is pretty much it. Delonte, let me start with you on this game. The Portland Trail Blazers, let's call it -5 right now, hosting the Charlotte Hornets. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, love the Trailblazers in this spot. They've been struggling as of late, so I look for them to get it going against the Charlotte defense, who they don't defend well at all. They are 29th in net rating, 27th in points allowed per 100 possessions, 28th in point differential, bottom 3 in defensive and offensive rating. So they don't do a lot well, and I think Portland has been struggling. When they first started off, they started off extremely hot, and they were top 10 in offensive and defensive rating. Now they're still in the top half as far as offensive rating, but they fell off defensively the most. And I think this is a perfect spot for them to bounce back and get a well-needed win to be able to, get on a better run, to get more consistent play from their guys. They are 1-3 straight up in ATS in the last 5. They're still profitable on the season, 20-13. But I think this is a home run spot, much like we said with the Bulls. I actually parlayed Portland 10+ margin with the Bulls 10+ margin. Pays a little over 3-1 for that. That's just something extra that I threw together. I think the spot sets up perfect for both teams. So I like Portland here a lot.
Terrell.
Yeah, you're not going to get any quarrels with me in Portland. I like this Portland team. I think they're really good. The big thing that you said was Nick Richards being out.
Yeah.
And now Mason Plumlee has to stay on the court.
Yeah.
He has to find ways to not get in foul trouble and stay on the court. And that's easier said than done when you're looking at Damian Lillard, Jerome Grant, you're looking at Anthony Simons, Nurk, all these guys that can get inside the paint and really make you work inside the paint. He's basically going to be a sitting duck out there, and he's either going to contest and get fouls, or he's just going to stand straight up and they're going to score around him, and it's going to be really easy to score inside the paint. So I think the Trailblazers, a team total over is a really good spot in this one. I think that they're going to have a really good chance to put up a lot of points in this one, whether trying to figure out whether it's going to be a Dame game, whether it's going to be a Grant game, whether it's going to be a Simons game. I don't want to have to worry about that. I'll just take the team total over and just say that for the course of the game, they're all going to put up a bunch of points. But yeah, I think this is a very, very good spot for the Trailblazers with the Hornets coming off of a win in LA.
Yeah, I think that the Portland Trailblazers are having an easy time here getting points up, whether, like you mentioned, whether that's Grant, whether it's Simons, whether that's Lillard, whether that's Josh Hart, whether that's even Nurk inside. As far as player props, already locked in. Nurk rebounds over 10.5. I think that's an auto bet, especially going up against his Hornets front court that gives up 15 rebounds easily to the center position. He's at 10.5, so I'd lock that up as well in this game. But any player props you're looking at in this game here, Delonte?
Yeah, I like Simons over 21.5 points. He has been struggling as of late, and Charlotte is a perfect team to get on track. As far as scoring. They are, bottom 3 in, major shooting, like defensive metrics as far as effective field goal percentage and 3-point percentage defense. So they don't defend well. I think Simons is in for a big game. As do I do Dame. I mean, Dame's going to do what Dame does. As far as guard play, I don't think Charlotte has enough to contain either of those guys. On the Charlotte side, I do like LaMelo over 36.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He's went over in 4 of the last 6. I mean, we all know Charlotte is just LaMelo or bust. Like, he has to do literally everything. He's setting up guys. He's rebounding. He's making threes. He's throwing behind back passes. He's pretty much doing everything. So I like LaMelo a lot, over 36.5 points, rebounds, and assists, with a lot of pace in this game. It's going to be a lot of possessions. We'll lean to the over as well. Both teams have been playing extremely well to the over. 7 of the last 10 for Charlotte have went over. 6 of the last 10 have went over for Portland. 13 of the away games for Charlotte have went over, which plays well with how good Portland has been scoring at home. 8 of their 12 home games have went over. So smash spot, a lot of possessions, like the over in the game, like the Portland team total over. Simons over 21.5 points, and LaMelo over 36.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
All right. Anything else for this game, guys?
I got nothing else.
All right. Before we get into our lock and dog, let me tell you guys about our presenting sponsor. That is WinBet, and where you can get down on all the player prop sides and totals that we talked about on the pod here today. WinBet is the official online sports book of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. WinBet is active in a bunch of states, and there are a ton of ways to win, including live betting and same-game parlays. Plus, for the hashtag DGens only, try your luck at WinBet's Parlay Wheel. Great promos, odds, and payouts are happening right now over on WinBet. Ready to play? Sign up today to receive a special offer. Bet 100 and bet 100 to win 100. Limited state availability. There's so much to choose from. All you have to do is head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/winbet. So they know that we sent you. That sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WINNBET to claim your free bet today. Offers subject to change. Terms and conditions at winbet.com. Must be 20 years or older and present in the state where playthrough WinBet is available. If you're someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Also, don't forget to enter the SGP mini helmet contest from now until the end of the year. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/helmet. That's to enter the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/helmet to enter the SGP mini helmet contest. All right, gentlemen, let's close it out strong here. Coming off of that 6-0 Christmas Day games, let's follow it up, hopefully with another profitable day for our listeners. Delonte, why don't you lead us off, my man? Lock in dog for this Monday schedule.
All right, man. Well, what I'm gonna do is I got a lock player prop and a lock like spread ATS one. So for the spread, I'm going with the Portland Trailblazers, a game we just broke down. I think it's a home run spot for them. They have not been playing well at all. Charlotte is a perfect medicine for that. So I think they come in and win by double digits. That's my lock as far as that ATS. As far as the player prop ATS, Kobe White over 8.5 points. Went over it in the breakdown of the Bulls game. We don't need to reiterate it. Just he's going to have more opportunity with Caruso out. Think he's going to make some threes against the Houston Rockets defense. As far as the dog, I'm going to go with Indiana. Okay. Not something I completely love, but I think they're going to just get it done with the Pelicans roster that's just depleted right now with injury, sickness, and who knows what's going to come down. When we get off this podcast. So I'll take them on the money line. What's the best number? Let me see. It's down where I'm at. So if you could help me out with that number.
Looking for a money line on the
Indiana Pacers. Yeah.
Give me 1 second here. Let's see. You could get a plus. Let's call it plus 120.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I like that. I'll take plus 120. And for another dog for me, player prop wise, Ben Simmons over 6.5 rebounds. That's plus 115.
Love it. All right. For my lock here, let's see. A couple of things that we did like. Give me. Let's go with the over in the Nets and Cavs game here tonight. I think we're going to see some incredible offensive performances from the stars in this game, whether it's Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, um, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell. I think the pace will be a little higher in this game than what we've seen from these teams so far this season. I think this number is a little low. And at 221 right now, currently over at WinBet. Oh, sorry, 220 and a half. I think that we could see a game where this ends up 114, 111, something in the neighborhood of well over 220 and a half points. So for my lock, give me the Nets and Cavs over 220 and a half. For my dog, I was trying to see if I can find a double player prop here on Jalen Duren.
Man, you getting rich off Jalen Duren. I remember every time you take his prop, he just absolutely like goes crazy.
Yeah, and I think it's also that Marvin Bagley's not going to be playing here tonight for the Pistons, or he's actually officially questionable. But I think I really like that the most here. So yeah, give me Jalen Duren double plus 205 here tonight against the LA Clippers. He's doing a great job rebounding the basketball. I think that's going to continue here tonight. I think he's going to get the minutes as well. He should be playing 30-plus minutes. The points is the one concern for him, but I think that he should be able to get at least 10 points here tonight. So Jalen Duren, double plus 205 as my dog here tonight. Terrell, close out strong, my man.
All right, don't leave that Pistons screen. I'll come right back to you in a second. Hold that thought. For my lock, Bulls minus 7.5. They're going to bury the Rockets. Rockets are not locked into this game. Rockets are thinking about Christmas. Rockets thinking about all this other stuff. Bulls at home, everything. I told you the angle. I like the Bulls today. Bulls minus 7.5. I think they win by 11 plus. For my dog, Pistons money line. Not even. I don't think the Clippers are locked into this game at all. I think the Clippers come in here. This is a bad spot for them. This is a dud. They had a road game before the holiday break. Coming back on the East Coast for another road game. Either they stayed, either they came back. I just think this is a terrible spot to be laying 6 with this team. I'll take the value on the money line in the Pistons, which is Munaf
plus 190.
All right, there we go. So basically 2-1. I like that. And something fun, sprinkle on Pistons and Spurs money line parlay. Matter of fact, let me get into who else do I like as a dog today? I like Timberwolves. So let's get into my my Sean stacking the money green 3-team money line round robin. I'll take the Spurs, the Pistons, and the Timberwolves.
Plus 1483 over on WinBet.
Jesus,
as a parlay.
Appreciate you.
And then if you want to do it as round robin, I'll let you figure that, guys. Let you guys.
They got it. They got it.
But as far as a straight 3-team underdog parlay, Pistons, T-Wolves, and Spurs, close to 15-1, officially plus 1483 over on WinBet. So a little giving mood after the Christmas Day games that we expect some extra money. Yeah, there you go. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this Monday episode of the NBA Gambling Podcast. Terrell, anything else we need to mention before we get out of here, my man?
No. I mean, everybody knows subscribe to us. There's a lot of people out there that told you, Memphis was a smash spot, and they hammer Memphis with everybody out. And then Wiggins was out, and they doubled down and said, no, if you weren't betting Memphis before, now you're really, really betting Memphis. I just want you to remember, everybody out there, I want everybody to remember who came on here and said Warriors money line. Have a great day.
Delonte, anything else, my man?
I think he summed it up perfectly, man. Hopefully we can stay hot. Everybody should have some extra spending money for New Year's with that podcast that we put out on Christmas Day. So just hoping we can stay hot and keep the listeners pockets fat. That's all.
Yep. Last week of the year. Hopefully we can continue that momentum from Christmas Day into this new week. Hopefully we have a profitable day. Make sure to follow Terrell on Twitter at reallyRel __. Follow Delonte at XXLonteXX. Follow me on Twitter at SportsNerd824. Make sure to follow the NBA Gambling Podcast account at SGPNNBA, and make sure to like and subscribe the YouTube channel for the NBA Gambling Podcast. All right, we'll be back as usual throughout the week, tomorrow through Friday. Make sure you have those notifications on when we do go live. Till then, good luck with your bets. Let's break these books off and let it ride.